as well. All right, there we go. Okay, all right. Am I missing anything? No, I don't think I am. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Returning to the waste today, everybody, which begins in 3, 2, 1. Greetings and welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons. Guess what we're doing today, everybody? We're returning to the wastes. And Beau is back in the DM seat. The hot seat, if you will. Very exciting stuff. Before we get cranking, though, a reminder that our friends at Phoenix Pearl Tea have some tea for you. In fact, there's still a lot up there that are based on the waste campaign. Go find out what they are, and if they're a fit for you at phoenixpearltea.com/TWBD. And now, without further ado, we hand it over to Beau Schwartz, who will tell us what happened last time, I guess, on the wastes of There Will Be Dungeons. Hi, Beau.
Hi, I'm just this dramatic pause as I collect myself.
Cool.
Like, okay, now go. All right. Our story continues in the wastes of the planet Earth, deep in the solar system. Nash Maggart of the Solar Mines, Stanley Billings, Hope Akamenos, and Vorel Rasvim Kurik, now known throughout the lands as the heroes of the wastes, spend time in lamentation in the ruins of the great elven space station, Elhandar. Each has agreed to stay and wait, while Stanley Billings attunes to an item of great magical power handed down to him by his father, Delit Onaf. As each one retreats to their own contemplations, they think back to what has transpired this past month. They first met in an unknown location, a hidden cove village called Dust Hill, where the leader of such place, the Hillmaster, entreated them to become the Hill Guard, for his current Hill Guard was plotting to betray him. They agreed tentatively, and soon found themselves embroiled in a great plot against the populace of Dust Hill by the Hillmaster himself. This led them deep to a dwarven cave called Moog Farain, where they encountered the first of many weird demons they would meet, Quizquaz, the Dream Drinker. After this encounter, they returned to the surface of Dust Hill, only to find that it was being assaulted by a goblin horde. From there, they pursued the goblin horde, finding an ancient facility where they unleashed a black dragon named Yoshalar into the sky. But they would not realize its import until much later. Their journey brought them to a place called Slave Town, where an enigmatic figure known as the Principal was expanding his territories beyond a range of mountains separating east from west, the Dead Fingers. There, under the direction of the Principal, the oil-beard dwarves had enslaved the residents of Slave Town, forcing them to work in a treacherous place called the Black Mine. As our heroes contemplated liberating the town, a Cyclops happened upon this town called Orb, and they convinced him to go away. There was some concern over a land dispute between a Catherine Speckles and Tylander Sullivan, but they eventually descended into the Black Mine as a curse had overtaken it and had become the most important issue to resolve. Deep 100 floors beneath that mind, they met their second weird demon, and their most notable of them all, TWBD. TWBD brought them to a place called the Weir, a magical land above a body of water called the Piss, and promised them great power in exchange for a simple task: kill the principal. Although Varel would not yield in this agreement, the rest of the party contemplated that they disliked the principal and his slavery and thought it an easy task. But it would not be. They returned to Slave Town, having liberated the Black Mine of its curse. Nash took pixie dust and burned half of it down, so they ran away. After wandering in the desert some time, they encountered a nag and her warm creature son, and became enchanted by it. All but Stanley, who rescued his companions, but not before becoming overtaken by the Archfey of Carnage, Diantalis, who would accompany him in his mind for the coming months. The heroes proceeded to a place known as the Teat, but was once a great tiefling kingdom that Hope's family line was ruler of, TWBD. There they met the leader of a gang in Trashburg called Monsoon Cabbage. Monsoon directed them to a passage underneath the castle so they could rid this place of their current rulers, the Guzzle Gang, led by the Suckmaster Din. They vanquished the Suckmaster and his pet, Froghemoth, who escaped into space. But they had also learned that Monsoon had betrayed them along the way, using them to slay his ancient love and rival, Kefeli, a metal Medusa. In the final moments, Monsoon changed his mind and yielded TWBD to the rule of Queen Hope Akmenos. And for the next 3 months, Hope did her best to provide for her people and create a place of safety in the hostile wastes. There, Nash bore children with Angelashi, whom we met at a Chinese food restaurant and dance parlor. And Varel created the Golden Sands, a place for adventurers to find work. And Stanley contemplated his inner being by devoting himself to Malhaya for a time. 3 months had passed, and the principal decided he would pay a visit to this new kingdom, and there for the first time they met their mark. A man made entirely of chrome, who could transport across great distances in the blink of an eye. He relieved Stanley of his curse of Diantalis. Stanley was once again free of the Archfey. But the peace would not last long, for TWBD had formed a rival in the Weir realm, a demon known as Adriesta, to whom Kefeli belonged, and thus she had spite for our heroes. She sent a demon of madness, Dolopopio, to assassinate the queen. But the queen survived, and the heroes went out to find the source of this terror. To ensure the safety of TWBD, Varel returned to Razak Val, for it was there the mind worms led him. And from there he determined that Razak Val was corrupt and impure, taken over by silly feudal disputes between its leaders. And from there he accepted his fate as Great Fang for his people on Earth. The Cyclops they had shooed away had become the Master Orp. And he defeated Orp. And then he defeated the houses to claim his rightful place as leader. The victory would not last long, for the mind-worms continued to plague the town, and they traveled to the place in the purple desert called Kervalon, and they traveled deep below the facility to slay Dolopopio in his realm. They were too late, and the world was facing destruction, and in order to save it, they all sacrificed their lives to destroy the machine that would bring the Weir into this world. But it would not be the end of their tale, for they traveled to a strange place called Sigil. Well, Nash and Vorel did. Stanley and Hope died. Vorel and Nash were distraught and sought. They were made an offer by a strange birdman named Kittigree in this Sigil. They had to win an M Sports marionette fighting championship, and Kittigree would resurrect his friends. And Vorel, not one to shy away from a fight, vanquished all opponents in the M Sports arena and brought back his friends. From there, they met Tobacho Fleur, the great crime dragon of the Hive, who sent them on a mission in exchange for information on how to return home. From there, they went to the Outer Plains, to the White Tower, to defend it from demons, to collect a treasure, which they were not to open, but Hope opened and found that it was an ancient arm. In the epic climactic moments of a great battle, she lopped off her arm and placed this new arm upon herself, gaining new power and a strange companion that only she could see. After escaping in an airship, dodging a moon that was summoned, and various mechas that came to defend it, they found their way back to Tiet-Kala. And they were exhausted. But the horrors they encountered in the firmament came with them, and Tiet-Kala was sacked by the demons of the abyss. They found out they were not alone, though, and reinforcements arrived from the great space station El Handar, high above Earth, whose mission it was to find a cure for the desolate sand wastes of this planet and to rid the Weir curse once and for all. They learned much aboard this space station, but it was not to last, for Tobacho Fleur was displaced by a rival of Vorel, the Mind Master, who sent Hennetar Grape and the Asphyxiant Army to assault them and everything they loved. Elhandar fell from space to the surface of Earth in the battle. I left out a detail. I have to go back a bit. While aboard Elhandar, the black dragon they had freed early in their adventures had found a home in the biodome of Elhandar. And in its final moments of life, advised the party that the one way to save the planet once and for all was to use its dragon metal heart to forge a trianglosphere, an artifact of impossible geometry, and to deposit it in the hottest place on the planet. The heroes knew not what to do with this information. But then that battle ensued, and they all fell to the planet. Their loved ones safe, they returned with High Elf Amanthalodar to Mars. Their loved ones being the 4 children of Nash, Pipe, Boot, Fork, and Nash Jr., and his wife Angelashi. Their elf companion Lyriel. The baby kobold Squirts. Diantalis. The newly formed Diantalis. Free to walk around as blue energy. And Vorel's protege, Bok, along with Riddle Nobieri, Hope's advisor. Those allies returned to the safety of Mars, while the heroes of the Wastes spent time in this cottage amongst the ruins of Elhandar, in the desolate silence of the sands, contemplating what might be next. Dun, 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 dun! Title card. Heroes of the Wastes. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ba-da-bum, bum, bum, bum. Brum, bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Wow.
All right, it's done.
Damn, well done.
That was
The
very
exposition
solid.
is complete.
Yeah, well done. That was awesome.
Just like that, we're caught up.
Yep.
All right. So, Pharrell, Nash Maggard, Stanley Billings, Hope, good to see you all once again. But I'm not sure if it's great to be y'all right now. The most recent events that have happened is that you fell from Elhandar, trapped in this cottage like a shaken can of Coke. You've made your way out. Some Elhandy reinforcements have come and brought back your friends. But a particularly concerning event has just recently happened. A giant creature opened from a portal, you'll remember, and dropped into the earth, burrowing in. With this in mind, after that had happened, it's been silent since. Now, you're all aware that Stanley needed 4 days to attune to his magical item to see what this spelljammer thing is that is supposed to emerge from the cottage. Now, given the insanity of events and the feeling of failure that everyone expressed in the previous conversation, the despair that the party felt, there was a sense that this grouping would split apart, that people would go their own directions. But a conversation took place whereby Stanley suggested that everyone wait to at least see what this transformation entailed before deciding to go your own way, before deciding to break the fellowship. And thus, 3 days have passed, and we are close to the evening of the third day. The next day being the fourth, when whatever it is that Stanley is going to reveal will be revealed. So I ask you, during these 3 days of contemplation, what might your characters have gotten up to, and just welcome back. Just play around if you want to say a few lines as your characters and have some fun.
So where physically, like, is anybody around? Am I anywhere near my family? That kind of thing.
No, you sent them all back to Mars. So
okay.
When you landed, the Elhandari ships came.
Yeah.
And they told you that the Mars terraforming platform, which was this annex to the Elhandari space station, because they're trying to turn Mars into a habitable planet, that the elves have like a backup location there.
Okay.
So knowing that it's safer than being on the planet where this giant creature had jumped into the planet, and it's just, the wastes are very hostile, you agreed to leave them under the care of the elves of Elhandar on Mars.
Okay.
Another thing worth mentioning too, just to bring up from the last time we played as well, is that you did learn in your father's notes, Stanley, and I believe you shared this with everyone, that that your father was searching for someone by the name of Tungsten Wheel, who might be an Elhandari elf who could engineer the trianglosphere needed to save the planet, but he was missing. And the only known location of someone who might know of that person is an elf by the name of Dungelstar Ravensbread, who is on Mars. So part of the discussion with the Elhandari elves was that you would wait 4 days to see what became of this transformation, and then go to Mars to talk to this Dungelstar. Now the winds have picked up a little bit.
Knowing they'd be going on a journey, Hope, in order to clear her mind as well, would just be taking rides on her elvish motorcycle through the desert, but she'd also be collecting food, hunting small things, and bringing it back and starting to restock their food stores.
Cool. So you said motorcycle, but for our listeners, I just want to make sure it's a speeder. It's a Star Wars speeder made out of. Oh, it's a motorcycle now. Have you changed it?
No. The speeder's totally fine.
No, I just want people to picture the floating hunk of wood that it is with the things. But yes, we can call it motorcycle for sure. No problem there. Yeah. Okay. So you would have been up to foraging and collecting food. Now the inside of the cottage was a mess. Was there any effort to clean it up by any of the party? You know, what were you guys up to? What would I assume, Vorel, when we last left off, you were pretty upset and you were content to be buried in the sand and shutting everything out. I think at one point, Stanley was experimenting with the new electric guitar he has, and you were like, shut up. You were burying yourself deeper in order not to hear it.
I remember that. Forgot about that. You were pissy. The last I forgot.
You were very upset, so I don't. Yeah.
Well, so would the house be full of dead tieflings and elves? Weren't they all caught in the blender?
There are corpses inside for sure of some that died.
Right, and I had promised to them that they would survive if they had stayed with us, so that was the source of my great shame. However, how did Hope get with us, or what? At what point did Hope join us in the adventure?
When we were in El Handar, in that cottage in the woods.
Oh, right. You appeared independently.
Yes.
So currently, the location of Dr. Spider, Mysterious Business, and
they had just rezzed Squirts.
That's right.
Or Brent had just rezzed Squirts. And was joining the evil group.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So
we haven't talked about Team Evil. Team Evil's still in play, but we haven't talked about Team Evil at all yet. Yeah. So actually, that's a good question. I believe you all reconvened at Tiet Kala coincidentally when the demon sacked it, and ended up on El Handar together. So you guys had returned to Tiet Kala. That part I'm not remembering. Actually,
no, we were before. Hope got teleported. She went through a teleport on her own.
That's right, because Squirts was with you, and Squirts died to the great demon lord that you had fought at the culmination of that battle. And then Hope also happened to be around, like going portal style. She came back to. I don't know if your characters know that.
Then there was a lot of not trust because Hope just showed up out of the blue and we hadn't been traveling with her for a while.
After putting on that arm.
And then things started to get better.
But we did have that time in the forest together, hunting and staying in the cabin lodge with the very sexually active ghost elves in the cabin, and I think some bonding had occurred because Hope got kidnapped by Diane Talus and you rescued her, and that's where you met Yoshalar the dragon, who told in that cave in the biodome.
That's also where my lieutenant died.
Yes, Omnom faced a tragic end at the hands of Diane Talus.
Which slightly my fault as I remember it, because I activated all 9 beads on the Orp necklace, which we will not remember where it was stored.
That's right, but Omnom was lacked guile in a certain sense as well. His strategic positioning was to be in the front, of course, and that played a part too. Omnom died doing what was most important to him, defending the honor of the Great Fang.
Right. Okay. So for Varel, then, I am not only enjoying a first sand nap in a very long time, I also very much wish to mourn my lieutenant, and I am overcome by a sense of duty to check out Razak Val. However, if Stanley asked me to stay, I would undertake cleaning out the bodies from the house because I did promise them they would be well. And I failed them.
For burial rites?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hope will be foraging for food. Varel will be doing his best to honor the fallen that are present in the building and put them to rest. Stanley, Nash, what sort of things do you think that you would get up to during these 3 days?
Well, I can tell you that I know exactly what Nash would do. Nash without his family and Nash without too many distractions would spend those hours, those days, anxiously kind of hanging around Stanley to see what happens. Like, he's trying to commune with, whatever he's doing. And I would be like, how's it going? Is it done? Are you done? Like, I'd be like that. Really annoying. And just kind of hanging about. And if he's somewhere, I'm not too far off, sitting down, like throwing rocks at a tree, or I guess there's no trees, but just being anxious and being like ready to what are we doing next? What are we doing next? And I'd be waiting for whatever it is he needs to get done here.
Is there anything you want to taste or
or smell or put my finger in?
I know you're very inquisitive personality.
I mean, I would have, if I'd have seen something strange, I would have maybe messed with it. Bug or something, but nothing too crazy. But outside of eating and taking a big Nash dump outside the camp somewhere, I would probably.
Do you have a location where the dumps are going?
No, I'd just dig a hole and maybe bury it. Just depends on the day.
Not by my holes, I hope.
No, not by your holes.
No,
These are
we're all gonna be
the
mad
fallen.
again.
Far from your holes, but I would be like, anything yet? Like, it'd just be annoying to Stanley. Not on purpose, just because I'd just be anxious to like get going.
Yeah.
And get her done. So that'd be what I did or am doing.
Okay. Stanley,
with Nash hovering around constantly, is exhibiting what might seem like incredible patience. Even though he's told him over and over again, it's 4 days. And there is no way to rush it. It's 4 days. He's always been willing to tell him. He's always had the answer. He's never been short with him. He hasn't made fun of him. He hasn't asked him to leave or dismissed him. And he has uncharacteristically tolerated Nash's presence in a way that even at the best of times he has not. Whenever Nash is not around, though, Stanley has been a bit of a ghost. He doesn't really seek other people out. Any chance he gets to just sort of disappear up to his father's study and, try and seal it off, he does. And doesn't join for meals or anything like that. He has just kind of been melancholy and on his own when Nash isn't around pestering him.
Would it be annoying to Stanley if Nash spent a good deal of this time laying on his back looking at the sky, especially at night, firing simple cantrip style fireballs into the sky? Just, like somebody might take a baseball and do this when they're bored. But it's just shoot them in the sky. If I see a bug, try to hit it. How annoying would that be?
Well, Stanley would definitely find it annoying, but outwardly, you would not be able to tell.
Okay.
Stanley has been completely tolerant of all your behavior.
All right, and which will truly, truly annoy Nash. That will annoy him like nothing else. Because if I can't,
by the way,
if I can't bug
Nash,
him, yes,
not only can you shoot them in the air, but there's a lot of wreckage. Like the wreckage of Alhandar is all around, so there's lots of targets for you to shoot at too.
Oh, cool. Well, I'd do some of that too. Then things that were harmless, not going to hurt anybody. I would just.
Yeah.
It's not even out of boredom. It'd just be anxious, like, oh my gosh, freaking.
I actually kind of like picturing you like lining up a bunch of bottles or something, and just instead of gun practice, it's firebolt practice.
Yeah, why not? I'll miss my kids, especially Boot. I don't know. I don't have favorites. You can't pick favorites. You love all your kids. But I would be, I'd be anxious and weird, and hopefully not bug Stanley too much. But that would be my state of mind while he's being, being all spiritual.
So around dusk time on the third day, it sounds like, Stanley, you're not taking meals with the group. So maybe you'd be in the study right now, sort of being aloof. Varel, Hope, Nash, and Stanley, you too. What might you be doing around that time so we can kind of place everyone for what's about to happen?
Oh.
Hope would be putting together food little food packages for everybody. Be
Oh,
cutting into the dried meats and everything.
that's nice.
Rations. She'd be making rations.
Okay. Varel?
Varel would be helping cook in a sort of nervous way, but hoping to recapture that moment of fun and innocence we had back in the White Tower, and once again feel a relationship with Hope, who has transcended beyond understanding.
Okay. And Nash, you're out shooting firebolts, I take it?
Yeah, I'd be out firing firebolts, just, trying not to be in the way, but still just...
All right.
Bok
Well,
Bok has chunks, right?
Yeah, they're Bok's on
Yeah.
Mars with
Oh, okay.
chunks.
Right.
Yeah. You guys, it's just you're alone. You're away from he's not here, right? All right. Yeah, so let's start off with the first roll of first roll back. I need perception rolls from everyone, please.
Oh my lord. Don't remember how bad I am at perception. I'm pretty good as my potato guy. All right, here we go.
Yep.
13 for Nash.
All right.
A 22 for Stanley.
9 for Hope.
Natural 20 for a 26.
Woo!
Okay. So oh no, my pen. All right. So Stanley, because you're in your study, your perception roll, though it's quite high, you won't be able to perceive what's going on. It's not a big deal, but we're not going to be doing that. But Varel, as you are preparing food, if you had hairs, they'd be raising on the back of your neck. So let's just say all your scales tingle with electric feeling. The feeling of a predator who's aware that something's changed but cannot see or otherwise give an explanation as to what. You feel as though something is out there.
And you said it's lunchtime, right? So it's bright outside?
Dusk, so we're close to dinner. So sun is going down. So if you were to look outside, one side would be dark, and then the other side you'd see the sun turning to bright, that shade of yellow as it goes down, an incandescent candle, so to speak, as the sun lowers.
Well, I would take my usual stealth position, crawling on all fours, and slither my way under the table, making my way to the window.
All right, stealth roll, please. I hope you do see this. Burrell's
Hope-
instantly and yeah.
It's stealth. Yeah. Hope, seeing that she's been practicing with the necklace, would transform into a lizard person with the color of the wood inside the house and try and copy Varel.
Oh wait, I forgot about what this is. This necklace of appearances or something along those lines.
Yeah. I get to cast Alter Self at will.
That's right. Man, so much has happened. It's hard to remember everything. Because I'm like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Necklace of infinite appearances. You transform yourself into a lizard folk as well. All right, so are you stealthing too? Are you sort of following his lead?
Yeah, she'll follow his lead.
All right, both of you stealth rolls, please.
I got a 22 with the advantage from my changing scales.
Okay.
And then 20.
Okay, so you're very stealth. You wouldn't be able to tell anyone was in the house, with Stanley being super quiet studying and you moving. Now, Stanley, even though you didn't hear what, you didn't succeed in this sort of test, because of your high perception, you are aware that they have stopped making rations. And based on the way the sounds were, it sounds like they've stealthed themselves. So you have that much perception that you can hear that. Now you can continue to ignore it, or you can I'm just letting you know that you're aware of that.
Stanley would he'd ignore it. He wouldn't take any action overtly, but curiosity being what it is, whatever he's doing to occupy his time would stop, and he'd do that thing where it's just like, I'm focusing on listening now.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going into action. It's like weird noise in the middle of the night, and you're like,
Right.
he's just doing that.
Yeah, makes sense to me. All right, so that means Nash, you're oblivious to all that's going on. You're shooting firebolts into the air.
Yep. Totally.
Catching them. All right.
Totally.
So Varel, Hope, you moved up to the window. Are you peering out, or what's the next action here? You are stealth for sure, though.
Correct. My first move would be to check the rip in the sky and then the horizon where the creature entered the planet.
Okay. So stealthily, you take a peek out. You still see the tear in the sky. It's a tear of blue and purple. It's very subtle. It doesn't. There isn't a hole or anything you can peer into. It just looks. It's just been a fixture these past 3 days. It's the way to describe it is like, when your glass is cracked, but nothing's getting through. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a sealed crack in the sky. It hasn't changed as far as you can tell. And where the giant creature would have fallen into the earth is very far away from where you are. It's just so massive that you can see it very clearly. So you don't have any, you see Elhandari junk around. You have no vision on where it would have entered. However, you do look around with just a quick glance. You don't see anything amiss. You do see Nash doing his thing, though. Of course, you could try to use a roll to investigate further. This was just a quick glance from stealth.
I would continue the quick glances, check on Nash, who seems undisturbed, and then check on my graveyard I basically constructed to see if it is.
Okay. So, investigating all of these things, the graveyard looks undisturbed. The Nash looks undisturbed, so to speak. The junk is nothing looks amiss. You can feel something, but you can't see something. And even giving a quick little sniff, you're inside, so the scent is not good. You'll have to get outside to get a proper scent of the wind, or open the window, perhaps. But visually, there's nothing amiss.
I would take note of Hope, though, taking a form of my people. Did you select a certain clan or color, and do you look like you but a lizard?
No, it would be a lizard person, a female lizard person, and she would have gone as close to the color of the wood inside the house as possible. So I guess a dark brown. And Hope would be checking the other side of the house, kind of mimicking what Varel's doing.
All right, you as well don't notice anything out of place. You don't have the sense that Varel has about what's going on. You've taken your cue from him and what he's up to, but so your visual investigation also turns up nothing out of place. The wind blows. We can hear it rattling the windows.
Varel, what do you see? What do you hear?
I see. Who are you?
It's Hope. I can change this. I thought we're stealthing, right?
Hope, huh? Tell me, Hope, how did we end up back on this planet?
Elhanda blew up.
And you were there?
She'll change back into Hope, and then she'll change back into the lizard person.
Oh. Your appearance disturbs me, but I must investigate more. I'm heading outside.
Okay, I'll follow.
I will sneak over to the door while keeping on all threes, move a hand up and pop it open, and then kind of nudge my nose in so I kick open the door enough to slither out.
Okay, so maintaining the same stealth roll that you previously had, you open up the door quietly and you start crawling out. Where do you go?
I want to make my way to Nash.
Okay.
Just go
So you
toward the
make
light.
your. All right. So Nash, can you make a perception roll, please?
Absolutely. That'll be a 16.
Okay. So that's lesser than Varel's roll. So you do not hear Varel approach you.
Okay.
What do you do with that, Varel?
Nash.
Ah!
It scares you.
Oh, hey. Stanley done? What are we doing?
There's something amiss. Varel speaks through gritted teeth. Would you be so kind, Nash, as to cut the signaling of our position?
Oh, this is a problem. Okay, hold on a second, and I didn't realize. I wasn't trying to do that, and then I'll stop. I'm just filling the time while we wait for Zippy over there to get his shit done.
Zippy?
Sorry, Stanley.
Should I call him this as well?
No, you're fine. You stay, you be you. It's just my little nickname that no one's heard until today.
Something is amiss, Nash. I feel it.
What is it? I'll get up and just take his tone seriously.
Something, as I just noted.
Like immediate danger kind of stuff, or like what are we doing?
My description is as complex as I can articulate.
Oh, well, I don't feel it. But then I'd like to do an arcane check if I might. Just see if I can sense any weird magic going on.
All right, go ahead and make your arcane check to feel the ley lines and the mana wave radiation around you.
It's not a great roll. A 11.
Everything seems normal.
Okay.
The magic of the universe seems to still be there and still feel the way it normally feels.
All right. Yeah, I can't tell anything's wrong. But I'll stay here. I'll stick with you in case something goes down.
Stay low. I will introduce myself. And I'll stand up, raise my hand to the sky, and summon forth my blade of Grosjean, flaming.
Mm-hmm.
And holler out, I am Varel, Rasfin Kurik, the Lizard King, Hero of the Waste, and I will go through all my titles. Out into the sands.
Okay. They echo out. Do a performance roll, please. This is a performative action. We would like to impress if we can.
11.
You've done better.
Nash is very impressed, though. If that helps.
But still, with gusto, it's still done well with gusto, as one would normally expect. Just you're aware you've done that better.
Yeah, I think I get towards the end with the hunter of the great elven woods, keeper of stories, butcher of the Barosaurus, and deceiver of the cheater Diantalus, with a little less believability.
The Barosaurus. Yeah. Very good.
Disappointed in those acts.
Right. So you look around, Hope, Nash, Varel. Stanley, this carries into the cottage, and you can hear Varel proclaim this very loudly now as well. You look around, peer at the distance, and towards the side where the dark is rising, through like gusts of wind and sand and debris that gets kicked up, you see nothing but dark blue, black, and then a silhouette, robed, is visible and approaches. There's no response, but you see a figure approach. It is unmistakably a humanoid in a cloak. It doesn't appear to be walking fast, and it appears to be perhaps within the cloak weighed down with items under there somehow. But it is approaching your direction for the cottage, 100%.
Hope will call up to Stanley to let him know someone's coming. And she'll change back into Hope.
Stanley lets out a sigh, kicks up from where he was laying down, just comes hobbling down the stairs, kind of grunting to himself.
Okay. Perfect. So the figure continues to approach. It may be, a few minutes before it arrives within speaking location. It is not called back to you, Varel, but is heading your direction, so an encounter is inevitable. Any preparations that you'd like to make before the arrival in the few minutes you have?
I will hold my sword down towards the figure. I'm assuming that it's the shadowy, cloaked figure that we met at the end of the White Tower scenario, as anybody else wearing a black hood would be odd here in the desert. And I will inform Nash that he should stand erect and make yourself known.
I don't know what you mean by erect, but all right, and I'll do as he says. I'll just stand there.
Okay, you stand up. Hope is transformed back into her original form, and Stanley, where are you positioning?
Stanley just comes out the front door. What is it exactly we're dealing with here?
No idea yet.
I'll say over my shoulder, a robed figure approaches.
All right, well, why don't we go find out what he wants? Stanley will start walking forward.
I'm standing here quite impressively.
Yep, well, as impressive as it is to stand around for a few minutes, I'd rather get this over with. And Stanley will walk past them and just start walking towards the hooded figure.
And I'll say, Stanley's really grumpy, and I'll say it quietly so he doesn't hear it.
Hope will follow.
All right, a little bubble pops up next to where you can see Stanley. It says Varel didn't like that. He will remember that. All right, so you approach forward. Does everyone approach with Stanley, or do they hold their ground?
I'd approach behind him.
All right. Sounds like everyone's gonna. Varel, you're gonna move up. Hope you move up. All right. So you move up to meet the figure, and as you get close, you're about to imminently get close, and the figure, still hooded. You can't make out anything about this, but Varel, your scale senses are still tingling. Would you reach out to stop him, or would you wait to be in close proximity to a stranger? I just want to get a sense of if you're going to keep your distance or not, I guess.
Stanley setting the distance for himself. I would be staying back and definitely ready to run in a great arc to attack from the side should it attack Stanley.
Blank attack.
Yeah.
Classic. All right, so Stanley, you seem to be setting the pace here. How close would you let this person get before stopping, if at all?
Stanley would probably get within, he'd probably get within 5 feet and then just come to a stop.
All right. Okay, so as the hooded figure gets closer, you see the hood is drawn greatly over his head. But you see that it's a tall, well-built humanoid of some kind, but towards the legs it seems to poof out like there's equipment or something. You hear a bit of jangling and rattling. You also hear from the cloak a bit of moaning. You hear like a very silently carry it over the wind. You approach within 5 feet and then stop, and then the hooded figure stops. And the hood sort of moves back and forth, and then the hood is drawn back a little bit, and you see intense, silvery, piercing, tiefling eyes and a tiefling face. And it's immediately recognizable to everyone. You know this tiefling. It's Monsoon Cabbage. He looks to you, Stanley, and to the rest of you, and he says, "It's been a long time." Would you care to invite me in for a conversation?
I think you'll find our knowledge of vampires has greatly increased since the last time we spoke, Monsoon Cabbage, and I have no intention of inviting you anywhere.
He looks around and he says, "There's much to discuss, and winds carry words farther than one would think. Please, I bring tidings of hope.
You disgust me, and our tides are quite full of hope, you will find.
Assure you I mean you no harm. I am here because I have learned a great truth. And it's something you're going to want to hear, Valir or Noth, he says to you. Now, you've never told him your real name, so it strikes you as something.
Stanley will definitely be shaken, and I don't think he could even hide it. But as quickly as he shows a shaken expression, he would say, maybe you should stick around a while, Monsoon. We've been here a couple days, and I gotta tell you, the sunrise is really something. And then he'd turn around and start heading back towards the cabin.
Oh,
Damn.
cool guy. Damn. All right. With that invitation, he looks to Varel and he looks to Hope, and he nods to you, Hope. He says, "Good to see you again." And then he turns to face Stanley and follows Stanley walking towards the cottage. I imagine everyone falls back behind Monsoon in a protective thing now that you've got him completely surrounded. Even though you're more clear on what a vampire is capable of, you realize this is very dangerous. And the five of you return to the cabin. I assume you go inside, Stanley, that this was agreement to be invited in?
Oh, I was not inviting him in.
Oh,
Stanley
okay.
was dismissing him as far as he was concerned.
All right, so he's following you, and everyone else is following you. So
that wouldn't stop him. If he was following in line, Stanley is intent on showing that he is not concerned about Monsoon Cabbage and would just continue right to the cabin, and suspecting that he wouldn't be able to cross the threshold of the cabin, Stanley would continue directly inside.
Which you didn't really give, right? You didn't.
Right.
I don't think. Yeah. Okay, we'll say. I'm trying to think if there's a word lawyering of magic that I can do, but I don't think so. So he stops at the doorway, and he says, "Will one of you invite me in, please? It's a formality."
What burdens your pants so, Monsoon?
You wish to know what's in my cloak? It's my meal. As you know, someone with my affliction must satiate those desires. I want you to feel safe around me, so I have my own food source in here.
What was his name?
Well, he still lives yet. And then he peels back the layers of his cloak, and you see sort of his garb. He's wearing, canvas clothes for desert travel, seems like, black. And then hanging from his belt is like a cage. Like the cages you might see in a dungeon that hang from the ceiling that are like bird cages, but for people. Yeah. But it's a small half one. And there's a halfling inside looking very gaunt, very yellow, definitely fed upon. And he's sort of got this big collar on. And from this big collar, there's a plastic tube sticking out of it. And sort of it's dangling outside the cage like a straw, literal vampire straw. But what strikes you not about this, it's also the shock of who this halfling is. You've seen this halfling many times before. It is none other than Softhead.
Oh, jeez.
Again, sitting there gaunt, tired, and he's like, and even though it's not sunlight out, he's been under the cloak for a long time, and he goes, "Master, it's too bright. Please." He looks and he says, "I believe you know this one. as one of the principal's former ambassadors that I've taken for myself. He is now my thrall, aren't you, Softhead? Yes, master. Are you hungry? His voice has changed somewhat, but likely from not having a tongue and now being sucked dry of blood. Does this meet with your approval? May I enter your abode?
No, you're not coming in. We could build a fire out here, but this is Stanley's place.
Hope, your words feel like daggers to me.
We have real daggers if you wish.
He laughs a little bit at that, and he says, "Listen, you are aware of the destruction of Principal City, yes?"
Yes?
I come and bring word from Principal City. I bring word for Valir Ornath.
So
Will you
spit it
grant
out.
me an audience or not?
Spit it out. Tell us here what he said. I don't want to end up like that dude in your coat.
He the dude in your coat. He opens up a pocket and he pulls out what looks to be not a coin, but like a badge. Not even a badge, but like an actual sigil of some kind. It is like a badge. And he shows it to you. The badge has a book on it. And then in the background of the book is a quill and parchment forming sort of a crest or a coat of arms, but one of not aggression. It would look to be like a guild of intellect or of some such thing. And he points that to you, Stanley. He says, "Does this mean anything to you?"
Stanley will turn back around, having gone through the threshold but stop to listen. Come back out. Take it. Look at it. Anything familiar about it?
Roll a history check, please.
A 19.
It's a good roll.
You have a recollection of seeing this in your childhood home where you lived with your father and mother. It was above the fireplace, up on the mantle, the very same coat of arms. You remember your father explaining to you that this was the family coat of arms, the Ornath coat of arms. Many, many years ago.
It seems somewhat familiar. It's surprising that you know the name and possess this. How did you come about it?
He looks to the distance dramatically. It is a long tale. But let me tell you, there was a time your father and I were close. We were members of a group much like yours, and we called ourselves the Circle of Naglagesh. When you came to me for the first time in Tiet Kala, you presented yourself as Stanley Billings. And it has been many hundreds of years since Delit and I adventured with our companions, much in the way that you do now. Had I known then that you were his son, I think things may have played out differently. I learned of your identity in Principal City. The principal told me himself. You know who else was in the Circle of Nagladesh with your father and I?
No, who?
He looks to Nash. We too had a Nash.
Which one?
I don't know. Last I heard, he became a tower. Somewhere in his kingdom amongst the stars.
Well, Nash would immediately know what this referred to, assuming there's only one of those, but he wouldn't offer that up. Still don't trust this dude.
There were 2 other members of the Circle of Naglagesh. The one you call the principal was one of our number, too. Back in those days, we thought we could rid this world of the weir, but our fellowship crumbled. It was due to the principal that it crumbled. But I will admit, I was not well suited for it either. For my concerns were not the concerns of mortals. I wanted to rule my kingdom of thralls, most of all. But I owe your father something. And certainly if I have no world to rule, then I have a stake in this fight too. Upon learning that you're his son, I realize you and your companions are our planet's only hope for survival. And I've come to offer you help. Knowledge, information, and a way to rid you of your curse of TWBD.
All right, you still have my attention.
May I come in?
Sure, come on in.
Thank you. And Monsoon removes his hood completely, and his hair is longer now, and he somehow looks more worn out than he did when you first met him. And he was already an older, craggly-looking tiefling to begin with. Back in the old boat, he says as he enters into the cottage. I see you have your father's abode. I admit it's nice to be back here.
You had mentioned that there were 2 other members. Was that Nash and the principal, or is there another you haven't named?
There was one other, but you would not know him. His name was Grosjil, and he was a lizard folk of Razakval.
Nash would make kind of an oh shit face and look at Varel.
The Circle of Naglagesh was committed to finding a way to finish what the dragons could not do when they sealed our planet and scorched it, to rid this planet of the weir curse. But unfortunately, it fell apart. I can't say that I'm not one to blame as part of it, but the principal is a manipulative madman, and he undermined your father's efforts. Although we did not discover it until it was too late, he should have expected it. Regardless, he plotted with Grosjil. He sighs. Grosjil is innocent of this. He is a weapon, and you point him in the direction, and he will terrorize whatever is in front of him. But the principal exploited us all. He's playing both sides. And I fear he's lost the point of everything and seeks only power. You see, the principal learned that there's one thing the weir cannot stand. The very essence is corrupted by chrome. It's chrome that undoes these demons. And he sought to change every inch of his body into this indestructible form. And yet, He still has dealings with them. It is madness at this point. He is too far gone. But when I left TWBD 3 months, it was to find out why a Nash had come back. I had not seen one for 200 years. I wanted to know what he was up to. I learned that he entered into a pact with one they call the Archfey of Carnage, Diantalis. The principal had, I believe he had imprisoned him, and he had obtained him from you, Stanley Billings. And I remembered that name because when I was spying on you with the radio equipment, do you remember? I remember you stabbed a man named George Miller in the neck. But it wasn't you. The party was referring to you as this Diantalis.
That's correct. I had a guest tagging along for a time.
Well, this guest was at Principal City, and the principal invited me to observe this ritual of changing. In exchange for his freedom, Diantalis agreed to surrender Sylvan's secrets of immortality to him to increase the strength of his form.
That does sound like something he'd do.
The ritual went wrong. You see, Diantalis gave him his gifts, and it was complete. But the principal transformed into something this planet should never have. Do you know of the legend of the Lich?
I can't say that I do.
It is a powerful spellcaster, a man of arcane means, who has found a way to completely cheat death. And with those Sylvan secrets, the principal has become such a thing. He is no more what you think he might be. He betrayed Diantalis. After taking those secrets, he sought to consume Diantalis completely. They fought in Principal City, and their battle caused the explosion and death of millions. Such a waste of good food sources. Diantalis escaped I know not where. And the principal's fate is unknown, but he is not vanquished. But upon learning that you were the son of Delit or Naf, I see no other person of hope for this planet. If you and your companions do not do anything, then this world's fate is sealed.
And why us? What makes us so special? We've been trying to change things for a while now, and I can't say we've made a single place better for it.
The wastes are a harsh place. There are enemies everywhere, selfishness abound. Look at the monster I have become. You are too hard on yourself. You have liberated TWBD. You have fought time and again for the concerns of mortals. But the forces of darkness, the forces of the weir that surround this planet, are formidable. If you have this abode, then you have the book of your father. Among us, your father was the best of us. He planned for everything. He knew what was to become. The day Nash entered his life, it was forever changed. Not you, Nash, but the Tower Nash. He convinced me, a person with little care for the concerns of mortals, to join. He was a man of great stature. And I know not what happened to him. But if I had to guess, the principal was behind that too. I'm sensing a lot of quiet amongst you. You were much more animated and delightful when we first met. Did something bad occur here?
There's been a lot of bad things that have happened, as you've said. So he's a lich, you said. So what does that mean about us defeating him? What even is that?
A lich is a magic wielder who cannot be killed, whose powers rival the gods themselves.
Okay, so we can't kill him. How are we to defeat him?
A lich is not without its weaknesses. To defeat him, you will have to find the source of his power. Simply put, the being of Lich will not die. So he has stored his soul in a place of great safety. You must find it.
You wouldn't happen to know where that is.
No, he did not tell me. It's not a secret a Lich would tell anyone. You will have to face him and find out for yourselves. But though the principal is an antagonist, he is not the important thing here. The important thing is sealing this world from the weir. Tell me, have you learned of the way to do that? Delete had mentioned something of an artifact called a trianglosphere that he was looking to create when last I spoke with him before our separation. Have you heard of this device?
We have. We have the materials needed to create it. We simply do not have the means.
And do you have any leads? He must have left something in his book.
We know of an engineer. We do not know the location.
Well, good. Then you have your path set before you. I feel reassured of this. I guess I've come to say I'm sorry for the role I played in antagonizing you in Tiet Kala. Had I known you were Dalit's son, this may have played out differently. But I'm glad you're all alive. Although, and Monsoon takes a very long look, Hope, at your arm. You know, that arm, that hand.
She'll transform it back to what it's supposed to look like. And then she'll just stare at him. Yes.
Love it.
Although I'm concerned. When you first came to Tiet Kala, I could tell that the scent of Ketobelpraith was among you. But lost in my grievances against the Guzzle Gang and Kefeli, I paid it no mind. And certainly, I'll admit to some distraction over Hope. He looks at you. He looks at you with a long. He looks at you in the eye as he says all this. Hope. I feel now that has lessened amongst you, and the only one among you I feel still has been claimed by the Weir. And he turns to Stanley, is you, Valir. So he opens up his cloak and he pulls out a briefcase and then he folds it out into a table. And as the table opens, a bunch of supplies open up onto it, like syringes and pliers. If I do one last good thing, I came to remove your curses. It is not something commonly known, but it is something I remember we had to do many years ago. Stanley, and he reaches out his hand, and his eyes sort of roll into the back of his head as he reaches his hand out towards you. I sense the stench of the weir upon your soul. Allow me to make amends for my previous actions by removing it. You will not be able to defeat TWBD or save this planet as a thrall to the weird demons. It must be excised.
Just like that.
It's not a simple process. You will need your friends. We will have to remove the demon inside of you, and they will have to kill it. While we perform the ritual. The ritual.
The ritual.
Marriage. If it is going to require them and putting them in harm's way, then it is not my decision.
I'll do it, Stanley. I don't care. Let's free you.
Nash.
I mean, you can count on me. Just get me back to my kids and everything's fine.
Vorel.
This man is yet to prove himself. Come, Monsoon Cabbage, I have been cooking a meal. If you can make it through the entire dinner without once saying, my feed, or what delicious people had died out there, or insulting our journey here thus, you may cut Stanley open or whatever it is you need to do.
I would gladly join you for dinner, but I must sup on the blood of my thrall here. For I cannot eat food with the curse of vampirism.
Yes.
Vampires do not poo, so I would have to pull the food back out manually, and it's very agonizing thing to do, as I don't have gag reflexes anymore either. I literally have to scoop it out with a spoon down my throat.
That's foul.
This is the sort of dinner conversation we will not be having, Monsoon Cabbage. I will outfit for you a hole in the table, and I will put a cup on top of that hole, so it looks thusly like a tube is running out of a normal cup. You may put Softhead under the table, of which I will put a sheet over him, and you will pretend to drink normally from that cup.
It is your home. I will follow your rules then. I agree.
The dinner in a normal form is served. Let us eat.
All right. So everyone gets around the table. I'm gonna just in roll 20. I'm going to change the map over as soon as I find it, just to something that reflects a little more what might be going on here at Vila or Nath. All right, do y'all see that?
Not yet.
Oh, I haven't changed it yet. Sorry, it's been a while, guys. All right, here we go. Now it should be changed.
There we go.
Hey,
Hey,
look
there
at
they
that.
all are.
All right.
Our
Oh
old
wow, we
pals.
didn't clean up, did we? Look at that.
Well, I wasn't. It's hard to anticipate, so it's still messy, but it's kind of back together, right?
The glass is off the floor.
Oh, okay.
All right, and so yeah, here's the Monsoon Cabbage. I'll try and move that chair closer. There we go. All right, so everyone, so there's a dinner plan. Tell me about this dinner, Hope and Vorel. Vorel's kind of in the lead, but Hope, you did help make it. So
If Varel wanted to recreate the thing, Hope would have helped make that family stew that she makes.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then if you got any sand squid outside, we would attempt to make some sort of makeshift coffee and sandwiches.
perfect. All right, so the party, Hope and Vorel, you go ahead and prepare the dinner. Stanley, Nash, anything we can be a little bit more freeform. Is there any information, anything you want to do while we wait for dinner? While I just pull up some stuff here in Roll20. Sort of leave it freeform a bit.
Oh, geez.
If not, I think we're approaching our breaking time. If there's nothing immediate, this will give me a few time to prepare a couple of things as we move into the next phase of our adventure today.
Oh, that's great.
So, decisions?
Yeah. Stanley would just be sitting awkwardly beside Monsoon Cabbage, making extraordinarily awkward small talk, if at all. Otherwise, it would just be very, very eerily quiet.
Okay, perfect. Nash,
It would
anything?
be, when people sit and they're anxious in their chair and they start bumping their knee, like doing this with their foot, I'd be doing that.
Perfect. All right. Well, then let's go to break as supper is prepared. And when we come back, the exorcism of Stanley Billings.
All right,
We'll
awesome.
continue.
We'll be back shortly, everybody. Stay tuned. Whoops. Stay tuned. Pause that. Get ready over here. All right, we're back from our break. It's the latter half of today's session. Back to Beau.
So the heroes of the wastes and Monsoon Cabbage repast together, eating of, what was it, a stew? Can't remember what.
Yeah, stew.
Eating together a stew while Monsoon sips from a straw. Muffled. The conversation is stilted. This is after all, a creature you have cause to distrust greatly, and so everyone is cautiously enjoying their dinner, and it's mostly silent. Monsoon breaks the silence and says, "Does anyone have any interesting stories to tell me of their adventures since we last saw one another? You seem markedly more wizened and experienced since we last met."
Oh, man. Nash would go, I wiped out. Oh, no. We'd wiped out that town before we saw him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
It's the one story he has.
It's my favorite. My favorite.
tells everybody who comes over. Let me tell you about this time.
It's like I didn't
got
really
really high.
after that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just don't remember in enough details.
It's okay. It's fine. It sort of jives with the stilted. Nash says, "Oh, there's that story. Oh, wait, never mind."
Yeah.
And then it falls back into silence. And he goes, "Well, perhaps then." And interrupting him, a voice muffled from below the table that says, "Master, I feel weak. Can I become a vampire now?" And then Monsoon sort of makes eye contact with all of you, and he says, "You will be. We will make you one soon." And he sort of shakes his head no to all of you as he says that. "It won't be long now, Softhead. Just a little. I need you to be strong just a little longer." But he shakes his head no to you, as if he has known this is a lie he's told Softhead.
Lies at the table, Monsoon.
Oh, apologies. It'll be a bit longer than that, Softhead. I gave you a false impression of how soon it might be. We have much to do. But don't worry, I will not drain you completely. I need you, Softhead.
Some real.
And he pats the table.
I was gonna
sort
say
of,
some real Nandor energy coming off of this guy. John knows.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you may have questions then about the ritual.
I do, as a matter of fact. What exactly is it going to entail?
I will not say It will be easy. You will endure a lot of pain through the process.
Just
We
Stanley,
will have to-
right? Nobody but Stanley has the pain.
It will be dangerous for all, but yes, we will have to cut out a portal in your flesh to release the demon inside. It will be painful. And I see we have cooks among us. I will need an analgesic prepared. Is analgesic the right word? Just
Anal what?
an ointment.
Anal what? Anal ointment?
No, not anal ointment.
Oh,
Analgesic.
He's not one of the cooks. You don't have to worry about him. Just let him ask whatever he's going to ask.
I believe I have most of what's needed. And he begins looking through his pockets. He takes out a vial of this sort of water, and he says, "Pig sweat, salt. Do you have any salt left, Hope?"
Yeah, there should be plenty.
Okay. And then ink. Does anyone have ink?
Stanley nods. I have ink if needed.
Oh, we will need it, please. Let's assemble it on the table now while we're talking about it. He pushes the pig sweat to the center. Please get the salt and the ink, and I have the other reagent required. Blueberries. Do you know what those are? And he pulls out a container, and it's a sweet, delicious berry of blue. He puts them on the table.
Guessed from the name, but good that you have them. I don't know what those are.
I have a missing eye and 250 fish eggs.
We won't need the fish eggs, but would anyone like to try a blueberry before we use it? They're quite delicious. He takes one out and he offers it. I can't eat it, but I remember the taste.
I would eat one, yeah.
Oh, he gives one to Nash.
What, Varel?
This man's perspective on deliciousness is questionable.
I'm hungry, though. We haven't had much.
We just had dinner.
Oh, yeah, the stew. It was all right.
We're eating some stew.
It's all right, man.
But look at these. These are blue, and they look cool. Just let me try one.
Fine. If we need another Nash, we'll get one from space.
All right. Then I'll eat his blueberry.
All right, you eat the blueberry. It tastes good.
Okay, no foul reaction.
Tangy, acidic, no foul reaction.
Okay. Then
Good.
I'll take
Sugary.
a couple of more just for good measure.
Oh, be careful not to eat too much. We will need those, Nash.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And then I'll just.
Anyone else care for a blueberry? Well enough. I will need one last thing, Stanley. Can you give me a lock of your hair? And then from his table that he's folded out next to him where he eats, he hands you a pair of rusty scissors. Here.
All right. Stanley finishes going through his component pouch, pulls out his bottle of ink, sets it on the table, and then takes the scissors.
And cuts the hair.
He looks at everybody and goes, I trust you all are not going to let him get away with this if this goes badly, right?
Everything we touch seems to die, so I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
100%.
Stanley cuts off a bit of his hair.
Okay, perfect. Who among you is the culinary alchemist?
Not me.
Everybody's looking at Varel, though he isn't speaking.
Now, technically, I have performed surgery before.
We've done a couple of surgeries over the years.
I remember a man, sedated and drugged. He came in to work on Hope. And I did things that I don't quite remember.
Was his name Dr. McDickles?
I believe
so,
so.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he passed out, I think.
Acted as his assistant for a time. I tried to take over for him while he was unconscious, I believe.
And that's where you amputated Hope's leg and arm, and he replaced it with some equipment.
Yeah.
Some metal arms and metal legs back in the day. Well, very good. Can you prepare this ointment? I simply need you to boil everything together upon the wood stove there.
Oh, very good. I'll grab up the things.
Good. And who among you is a capable drawer of glyphs and pentagrams?
Oh, geez. Has any of us done that before?
Nash, you've gotten pretty decent at it for transcribing your magic circles and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I could do it.
All right. From his pouch, he gives you this blood red chalk. He says, "Please place a pentagram on the ground. Stanley will need to stand at the center of it."
Okay. And I'll get down and make that now. Are we doing this in a different room? Is it the same room? Not that it matters that much, but...
Yep, so on the map here, you can tell me where you want to place it. I will show you what it's going to look like. There, do you see it now?
Oh, yeah, perfect.
So, wherever you want me to put it, just let me know.
That's perfect, right there. Like wherever you're hovering, yeah.
Okay. All right. There's that. Oops. Okay, I'll stop playing with that. So, Nash, you begin drawing the pentagram upon the ground. Varel, you begin boiling the ingredients together. And he says, we will all need to learn the words of enchantment. In the beginning, all of us will chant it. But as we draw forth the demon from its portal, I will need the three of you, Hope, Varel, and Nash, to defend us as we complete the ritual. We must slay the creature that exits from the wound. Are you prepared for this?
Hope will pull out her dagger and walk over to the pentagram.
How big is this creature?
It is difficult to say. It will not have necessarily a size. It will be in a gaseous form. Thus, your normal equipment won't be able to damage it, but if you have equipment of a magical nature, that will suffice.
Nash will back up and go there.
Okay.
At that news.
Across the room.
Give it a nice wide berth.
Very good. Shall we begin then? How is the boil coming, Varel?
It's fine. I'd like to check in with the Eye of Grosjean. I know that our relationship is likely strained, but he did claim to know him in a previous life, and I'd like to kind of get some insight on that, or just check in if it's true, because this is all heavily suspect. The man who lied to us could easily be lying again.
Oh, very good. So you do this like covertly while you're cooking the ointment. You're having a, facing away from everyone. Maybe you're trying to have a conversation internally.
Exactly.
Okay. The eye in your chest smolders with familiarity. It is an essence that it recognizes, but not only someone that's familiar, but someone that it would be a formidable challenge to take in combat and thus respected. You even get the sense that they may have fought before, and the outcome was neither victory nor loss.
Monsoon Cabbage, there is one you must still convince, and that is me. And I stir this while I talk to him. I stir the bowl. How did the one Grosjean end up inside the frog hemoth?
Recognizing what you're asking, he looks down at the eye in your chest, and he says, I thought that looked familiar. You didn't have that when we first met, but I noticed you had gained it when we had our last conversation in the keep of Tietkala before I left. Who does this eye belong to?
Answer my question first, and I'll answer yours.
Sorry, this is Beau talking. I forgot the question.
How did Grosjean end up inside the Froghemoth?
To my knowledge, Grosjean did not end up inside a Froghemoth. He embarked on a journey with Delit to find an answer to building the Trianglosphere. From what I know, neither Nash, the Tower Nash, nor Grosjean returned back to Earth with Delit. And the principal had already long since departed our company. I remained on Earth, and have no knowledge of what occurred to Grosjean out in the void.
I like this not. Everyone in this room, witness my desire of not liking this at all.
Allow me to reassure you of one thing. The Grosjean I knew only had one eye. I gather from your responses that perhaps this eye you bear now also once belonged to Grosjean. But I know not how it happened. Grosjean would not waste time with explanations of such things. He was forward-focused most of the time. And did not lament on the past. I assure you, Vorel, I mean you no harm here.
You have Stanley's trust, it seems. So proceed, for it is his body that is full of demons, after all.
Very good.
I would clarify, I don't exactly trust him. I simply don't see why it's not worth trying.
And if it doesn't work out, then we get to get rid of a vampire.
Exactly.
Oh, again with your barbed words. I thought you and me had a connection.
I've been through a lot.
I know. The world is a harsh, harsh mistress. Regardless, I will need everyone to chant with me. These are difficult words, so you may have to practice. And I will place those words in Discord. Discord a good place?
Sure.
You will have to say them as such. Na pari kayofidyev iquil flakliv iquil flukvil. All right, you try it, everyone.
Do you want it simultaneous? Might be hard on Discord.
Well, you might want to practice, so no need to do, synchronous chanting, but if you want to give a crack at the infernal language, Hope, your character speaks infernal, so this comes more naturally to you, but reading your face, maybe you're a little bit like, oh my god, what is this jumble of letters? But
It'll be fine.
it is sourced from the English to Infernal translator that you can find on the internet.
Oh, I thought you were just writing Final Fantasy NPC names down on the list.
That's what it looks like. All right, well, Nash would take a crack at it, and he would do it just like this. He would say, Na peri kavajadiv uquil flakafliv uquil flu flakil.
Hope would come over and help a little with the pronunciation and where the stresses go and everything.
You only have to say the line once. I will repeat the lines afterwards, but the additional energy from your conviction will help push the boulder forward in the beginning. Very good. Is the preparation prepared, Vorel?
It boils
Quickly then, put it in a bowl and pass it to me. Stanley, stand in the center of the pentagram. No one else should be on the inside as we begin the incantation. Stanley will be separated from us. Protected, if you will.
I will battle Stanley's demons, but I want no part in these words. Perhaps we can fetch a recording
Salthead.
device. Pretend?
That stuff doesn't work
Salthead.
anymore. They used to
Soft
exist.
head.
They don't work anymore.
Softhead, he has been silent for a little while now. You sort of see a hand limp from underneath the covering there. But you hope he's not dead, or maybe you do, but you can't tell if he's dead or not. Very well, Stanley, remove your shirt.
All right, Stanley moves to the center, takes off his shirt, stands there.
All right, who amongst you wishes to carve the doorway to his soul?
I'll do it.
You mean cut into him? You mean like chop into his body?
No, you just must pierce the skin, peel the skin back, and create an opening.
Holy shit, I'm not doing that. Hope you do it.
She just said she would, Nash.
I know, but this is all very weird. I don't like it.
All right, do you have a weapon to cut with, Hope?
Yeah, the dagger.
Okay. So, Hope, very quickly, Stanley gets out her dagger, looking a little too ready for this operation.
Yeah, still before she cuts, she'll go, you ready?
I think as ready as I'm going to be.
And then she'll cut.
All right, make either a medicine or arcana check. You're not looking to pierce muscle, you're just looking to peel a doorway of flesh into him.
It was on a 3 initially. Okay, a 21.
Oh, woo.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, you just have to try a door in a different spot, right? If it went badly. But on your first try, what shape do you cut the door in? Is it circle? Is it oval, square, rectangle? What do you cut?
It would be rectangular, and she'd do it where that marking, the writing was on their necks.
Oh, in the back of the neck, like the nape.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You cut out a square, maybe about half a foot long, a rectangle, and you peel the skin back. We're going to do some damage here. Very light, but it hurts, Stanley. The knife is going in you. You take 5 points of damage.
It's not too bad.
It's
Easy for
cut
us to see.
gently. It's
It feels a lot worse than the HP loss.
yeah. It's very painful. Like, you know, the knife's cutting into your back. It doesn't
Basically a
hurt.
paper cut.
It doesn't hurt right away, but as the wind and air gets exposed to your open muscle and bone, well, it does not feel pleasant. Okay, now bring the ointment here. We must frame the doorway. And Monsoon puts his fingers inside the boiling hot bowl, and then dripping from his fingers is the mixture. And he reaches out, and this is going to sting a bit. And then he presses his finger against your back and draws a frame around the cut area that Hope cut out. And this burns you for fire damage. You take 8 points of fiery, fleshy, burny damage as it stings. Salt enters into the wound, in particular, and the blueberries don't feel great either. As your back begins to smolder. And he says, "Very well, everyone gather around Stanley."
Okay. I was hoping we could stay back, but I guess we can't.
We'll lead you for the chanting.
Whoops. Outside the circle, though, right? Or outside the
All
pentagram?
right.
Yeah.
Yes, please stay outside the circle. Once the ritual begins, you will not be able to cross into the ritual space. At the apex of the release of the demon, I will shatter the field, and it will become released. Until then, just stay ready. So weapons-wise, does anyone, you can prepare yourselves before we begin the ritual? Do you want to do anything?
I would pull my staff out and hold it. Maybe just be ready with my focus. Other than that, no.
The dagger I think I'm holding is plain, but it does the D8 cold damage when held by the hand. Would the cold damage translate to magic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the weapon itself is not magic, but the damage it inflicts being damaged, it would affect it for sure.
Okay, so we'll negate the base damage, but I'll roll the 2d8 cold damage instead.
Okay.
Perfect.
Very good.
All right.
Well, Stanley, notably because you have your shirt off and you're part of this exorcism, you can't really have your equipment on you, but you can put it down somewhere to collect it. You're not really sure what's going to happen, but you may be indisposed for some of this battle, so you would need to put it somewhere.
All right. He'd set it outside of the circle, keeping what he can on. I'm assuming he could keep his necklace on, and I think I still have to keep the mask on because I'm attuning to it.
All right.
So
well, it's not going to make a lot of sense, but I'll put this little meteor symbol where your stuff is.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right. My bag's on fire. I lit it on fire so I'd know where it was.
Great. Okay, so everyone's ready. Vorel, do you have any equipment ready, or are you good to go?
I'll alight my sword.
All right. Whoosh. It's alight. Now, when you are ready, say the beginning words with me. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Na peri, kei fedville, equal flakviv, equal flekville. And with that, the room begins to darken. And the light that's coming in from dusk completely blackens as the windows shake a bit and the whole house shakes. Clouds of smoke begin to swirl up inside the building. Visibility tends to go down. The fire stove goes out. And there's no more light in the room except the pentagram below on the ground begins to glow crimson red and bathes Stanley in red light. He continues casting his verse. I vapal, G quillum, affirmative. I vapal, hadir titum, ui kirev. I vapal, hadir ludwe vori riles. I vapal, hadir joti uviliev. Na peri keovid, equil flakviv, equil flekvil. And with that, Stanley, your body becomes completely rigid. Your mouth opens, your eyes goes wide, your arms stretch out, and you make this screech. It's inhuman, and then clouds of shadowy smoke begin billowing forth from your nostrils and mouth and your eyeballs. And then it fills up in this cylinder of smoke contained by the pentagram. And Stanley's going, and then
you know what's great? Hold on a second. What's great is your Discord is set to get rid of high pitches, and so every time you do a high pitch, it's just silent. You just go.
Oh, really?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Is that better? Can you hear it now?
It still comes in and out.
Oh, damn. I need to fix that.
That's a setting in there you can turn off.
Everyone's like, maybe don't fix it. It's annoying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I have automatically determined input. Anyways, I guess we'll figure it out some other time. Hopefully it's not affecting things too much. But anyways,
you sound
yelling.
great when you're just talking. Yeah, you're fine.
And there's a cylinder of smoke. And then Monsoon calls out, "Stand at the ready. I'm about to break the bubble." And then from his nostril, it looks like not just smoke, but you see a face and hands in the smoke. And it goes around and it goes, "Who releases me?" And you hear it echo, and then Monsoon goes, "Now!" And then the cylinder drops and the smoke fills the entire room. And you can't see anybody. You can see the silhouettes, but you can't see anything as smoke fills the room. And you see face and cloud swipe, and it returns and it makes a beeline as it gathers up its smoke into a swirl straight back for Stanley's mouth to re-enter. Also, I guess there's stuff coming out of the door in the back. I realize I sort of made it all from the mouth, but we cut open a hole in your back. The way I described it makes it seem like the thing in the back was useless. Let's go ahead and retcon that and say it's coming from your back as well. Okay. I need rolls for initiative, please.
Oh, man. It's time.
21.
A 5.
14.
17.
Damn.
Burrell 17. Nash is a 5.
5.
And Stanley, sorry, you were
14.
14. Okay, so Burrell was 17. All right. I'm going to make a roll. Okay. All right, that puts Hope, you're first. There's a cloud of smoke that essentially seems to be a living demon filling the entirety of the room. There's nothing for you to target specifically at this point, but smoke's everywhere, and you see the cloud of smoke in sort of this demon form lunging again for Stanley, and I will put a shape on the ground for how large it looks. I just need to put that on the map here. Layer 2, token layer. All right. It's not really a token, but he's floating above the table, above Softhead. And it's in this shape of a being, but it's made out of smoke, unlike what's pictured there right now. And it's lunging towards Stanley. Your turn.
Cool. She will run toward the table, 1 foot on the chair, then the next foot onto the table, so she can reach it, and then she'll use her attack action for 3 attacks on it.
Okay. Let's let it fly. Let's let those rolls fly. So you're gonna stab it 3 times with your ice knife.
Yes. So I'll roll the hits first to see how many land, and then I'll give you a damage.
Gotcha.
All right. First one's a 30.
Okay.
Second one's a 27.
Mm-hmm.
Third is a 15.
There's a 15. Okay, so the 15 doesn't hit. The other 2 do.
So that's 19 cold damage total.
Okay, perfect. So you see Hope immediately reacts. She runs up onto the table, swings her dagger through it, and she connects twice. And the connection looks like the blade is hitting some blue material as it disperses cloud. And you hear a sort of yelling from the monster as it receives the damage that you've inflicted on it, but it's still in this gaseous form at the moment. And it's not very satisfying, even though it just feels like you're cutting cloud, but you're clearly damaging it. But your arm swings wildly through it, cutting it. It is not vanquished at this time. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Nope, she'll stay there.
Okay, we move on to Varel.
All right. I just want to be clear at this point, however, that it was Nash and Hope who said the words aloud. I stood there like a nervous choir boy and mouthed them and did not participate.
Noted.
And now I will engage. I run forward and join the fray. I will, I'm going to stand between Stanley, staying out of the circle, but I'll be between it and Stanley, assuming it's going to try to run by me. And I will do some shield throws its way.
Okay, perfect. So the flyer, you summon the fire shield and fire it out at the cloud, the demon-shaped cloud.
First attack, a 22, and second is a 16.
Okay, first one's a hit.
All right. 15 points of fire damage.
All right, the shield goes through, slicing and piercing at it. It makes disturbing noises once again. As it flies through, and then you catch the fire shield back in your hand. Anything else you'd like to do? How many points again? Sorry.
15.
Thank you. Anything else for your turn?
That's it.
Okay, we move on to Stanley. Stanley, you are slowly beginning to regain control. You're panting a bit, but you look before you and you see the shape bearing down upon you. What do you do?
Stanley kind of gets to a knee, still breathing heavily and tired, but kind of fixes his hand and is going to fire 3 eldritch blasts at the creature.
Okay. You don't require material for that. There's no focus necessary for this thing.
No, just
Perfect.
verbal and somatic. And that is a
You're good to go.
27, a 25, and a 31 to hit.
Okay, all hits.
Okay, it is 10, 16, 25 points of force damage.
Okay, so 25 puts the damage total at 49. All 3 of those were hits. Okay, so you fire the Eldritch Blast in there, and they sort of, as they hit, they explode inside like the cloud. It looks like lightning inside of a cloud, but it's all in this small little cabin. It just goes, and smoke disperses all over the place, and the face screams as it continues to lunge at you. Severely damaged at this point, but still alive. Anything else you want to do with your turn before we move on?
Stanley will just kind of right himself a bit and start making his way over towards his equipment in case there's anything he needs. So he'll probably get to about there, but not do anything with it just yet.
Okay, so perfect. So the smoke all around the cottage, whirling inside, kind of like a typhoon inside this tight space. All the garbage on the ground is now floating, and glass bottles are breaking everywhere. And there's pieces of wood going boom, boom, boom. You kind of gotta. It's not too dangerous, but you gotta dodge them a little bit. And the cloud of smoke goes and bears down upon you. Let me just put that to the back there. It bears down upon you and attempts to enter back in through all of your open holes, your nostrils, your mouth, and the hole in your back. I need you to make a Constitution save, please.
Constitution
And
save.
your butthole, John. It's your butthole.
I know it's gaseous. But did I get an attack of opportunity?
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
Oh, did I as well?
Yes, you did. Sorry, I forgot. It's been a year. Attacks of opportunity. Yes, absolutely.
I got a 1. Yeah, we both got 1s.
We got one.
What? Oh, you're married and everything. That's great.
It goes back into Stanley unquestioned. Oh my god. What have we
Well,
done?
now it's going to be a proper welcome back to my DMing because you both rolled 1s. That is very unlikely to happen and signifies a grand error. Your one hope, not only do you drop the knife on your 1, but you launch it in Varel's direction, lodging it in his thigh. And as well, you lose control of your flame shield and fire it and bonk her in the head with it. Roll damage on each other, please.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
It's a gaseous opponent, so you
Yeah,
both put too much power into it and just overcompensated.
So 9 points of regular damage, 9 points of cold damage.
Oops.
20 points of fire damage.
Jeez.
Half that.
Half that. You got okay, cool. You guys have lots of hit points. You're fighters. You'll be fine.
Exactly. We were
You'll
going for
live.
ranged attacks.
It's all right. You'll survive. Goes with the job. Dangerous things happen sometimes. Don't roll don't roll double 1s. Like, I have to celebrate the fact that 2 1s were rolled in the same. Like, that cannot go by without ceremony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have to.
My
You
save
must
was a
honor the one.
17.
Okay, so as you're not quite sure how you did this. You've never had a gaseous form attempt to enter into you, but you are able to, with the power of your spirit, block it from entering deeper into your throat. Like, you're just kind of going pushing it out, like making air go that way as you try to latch onto something and fight it off. But you're like, and even though it hasn't consumed you or done anything with you, you are currently tied up fighting it. So you won't be able to. You'll be able to move around, but you won't be able to do anything other than fight against it. You know, you can't do like any other actions besides that, taking care of it. So it doesn't succeed at consuming you. So Nash, you're last in the turn order.
Yep. All right. I would like to, from my position. Oh, I don't want to hurt. I shouldn't though. Okay, I'm going to cast Chromatic Orb. And I want to cast it with cold damage, which I have to choose before, if I remember right. Yeah, I do. So let me cast this thing. Let's see. You have to do a. Where's the saving throw info on here?
Which spell is it?
Chromatic Orb, level 3. Hold on. 5, 8, 7,
I think it might be an attack.
I think it's just an attack. Okay, so here's for
yeah.
hit.
You choose the damage type, and then you make a ranged spell attack against the target.
Oh, jeez. What a shit roll.
And what level did you cast it at?
Level 3.
Okay.
So it's a 12 to hit. It's probably not going to hit. Did it hit?
No.
Okay. Then that's
So
a whiff.
flies past, whizzes past Stanley's head, whoosh, and through the gaseous form, and hits the wall behind it.
Beautiful.
Making a little ice patch on the wall. Or big ice patch. It's a big 3rd level spell.
I'm also going to do a little movement here. I'm going to move behind this. Is this a crate here? Did I just move behind
It might be.
Can't tell.
I don't know what you're pointing at.
The thing where my body is, I just got behind it on the map.
Well, there's like a bench. Yeah, I mean it's only like maybe half a foot off the ground or something like that. It's not really cover. It's garbage on the ground.
Half a foot. Well, then I still have movement because this is a small space.
It's just there's no. If you want to get cover, you'll have to go behind one of the walls or like flip the table over or something.
I'm gonna go where this
trash.
I'm gonna go hide behind this chair. There you go.
We'll put this garbage here.
Okay, so Nash runs behind a chair and is like, has his hands on it, is looking through it.
Totally. Absolutely
Like
what
a
I'm gonna
13th
do.
level sorcerer hiding behind a chair for the scary demon. All right, perfect. All right, so Hope, it is your turn next. It's back up to the top of the turn order. Just for everyone's benefit, Monsoon is continuing to chant and seemingly control things. He has his hands up. He's occupied with the incantation. So it's back to Hope.
All right, I'm being told about a monster truck right now. So if you guys hear something cool, like monster trucks jumping or something.
All good. There's spirits
Pretty awesome.
everywhere.
Oh yeah, you just hear them.
They say
Going.
crazy
The
things.
monster trucks alive in the waste.
Teeth. It's got teeth too now. It's pretty cool.
Damn.
Sharp teeth.
That's too cute.
He's too cute.
All right, if she's with the trucks, or if you don't have time, we can defer the turn if you need to hear about the monster
I
trucks.
got it. Thank you guys
Okay.
for listening to that spirit. Really wanted to get
we
it out
love
there.
it.
All right, Hope will run off the table. So one boot onto the chair that she stepped up on, one boot onto the floor. She'll run by Varel, rip the dagger from his thigh, and run around to the monster and attack it 3 times.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
A 19, a 21, and a 29.
All 3 are hits.
$37 cold damage.
Wow.
37 cold damage. Oh, total for all the hits?
Yeah.
All right, so you swipe in, careful not to hit Stanley, whoosh, at the gaseous form all around his head, whoo, 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 and large, like, streakers of cold, like, ice, like, just sort of, almost like if you had a glacier and you took your knife across it, would, like, chunk off pieces of ice. Like, it condenses the cloud into black pellets of ice. And as you, like, slice open, and it screams and lets go of Stanley. And then all the clouds summon up into the ceiling, and now you can see each other clearly again. and there's just cloud on the ceiling, and the cloud reforms at a safe distance from everyone back towards the other end where Nash is. Nash, it's behind you now. You're no longer protected by the chair. And it forms into a physical manifestation. And you see, as pictured, a large torso on 4 legs with long human-like legs and arms, and his back reaching up near the ceiling. Now his face looks like it has no features, except there's a big pair of lips at the top of the forehead. Like someone took the chin and just went right over the whole face. And it's gray and blackened. And it looks out at you and it says, despair. And I need to get a cone here. I need a cone shape that looks appropriate. Yeah, why don't we do Death Spell? That sounds cool.
That sounds ominous, is what it
Yeah, it does.
So hang on, 10, 20, hang on.
Cover up
10,
your holes
20,
there,
30,
John.
40, 50, 60. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no. I didn't put this.
Look at that thing. It's like a big schmear.
All right, hang on.
Yeah, cover your
a little
holes.
bit larger.
right out of its upper thigh.
Okay, so hang on, we'll put it. Actually, it has to center probably off his. I'll center it off here. All right, and then as it opens up its upper lip, and what you see inside mesmerizes. It looks like there's this demonic galaxy inside, made of bulbous purple, pulsing bulbs. Blub, 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 blub. And as you look at this horror, it causes you to feel like you're being electrocuted, but not with electricity, with mind tricks. And it's you're just like, as you look at it, it discomforts you. However, it doesn't harm you in either way, but the casters among you immediately recognize that they're in, if standing up, you can tell Nash you're not actually in it because you're behind him, but Stanley, you for sure realize you're in an anti-magic field and cannot cast any magic in this field.
Some bullshit.
All right, and then as it does this, and as you get disconcerted, small little creatures grow from the wood around on the sides. 4 of them.
Oh boy.
These creatures are scaly and black, have a single eye and a large jagged mouth, looking to eat, and they all grow out of the wood as if summoned through the wood, and they go, ah! And they roll into the initiative order. Okay, that's very low. And yep, Varela, it is now your turn.
Is Stanley moving again, or is he sort of frozen?
He's free, but Monsoon is continuing the ritual. But
Okay.
yeah, he's moved around and he's swatted at the this being in gaseous form.
Is the maw into the face of galaxies open currently?
Yes, and as you stand in it, your flame shield pops out, like winks out of existence.
I would like to pick up the cage of Softhead and throw it into the maw.
You don't care. Do it.
Okay, we can either go with improvised weapon attack using strength since it's a heavy weapon, or we can do an acrobatics. No, it would be an athletics check, as you prefer, to try and aim it. I would accept either manner of resolution.
All right, both are the same. I will enter my rage and I will pick up Softhead's cage by the top sort of handle. And
he wakes up and he goes, "What's going on?"
And I will give it a whirl into the maw of the beast.
Okay.
Dinner's over.
27.
Wow. All right. I think I got to roll a counter thing just in case. Nope. All right. You take the cage and it fits in sort of perfectly. It just goes whoop and closes off the anti-magic cone as it's now blocked, and the cage is sitting stuck in its face. And you hear it go as it writhes around, confused by this most unusual of tactics. And so that is gone. Success. The anti-magic field has now been stopped off. It's not caused any damage, and it's about to be preoccupied with removing it. Stanley, any other moves you would like to do for him?
I will. No, I would stand victorious and do a little arm. What would it even be called?
Huzzah.
A fist pump.
Yeah, but it's like elbow down celebration.
The big elbow drop.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
the
the trucker thing. Like you go,
like I'm big rigging. I'm
horn
big rigging.
pulling.
You're big rigging.
All right. Perfect. I can see the shot there. Like you throw it, it lands in its face, and then you turn to the side silhouette still and go, yeah. Like
Yeah.
Big rigging.
All right. Stanley, you're up.
Stanley decides to skip the equipment. Clearly the fight's still on. Things are still tense. He's going to move his 30 feet. He kind of kicks the chair out of the way as he gets over to it, looks at his opponents, and then just goes kaboom and casts Destructive Wave.
Oh my.
Okay. You have Destructive Wave as a spell as well?
I do, as a matter of fact, I do.
Okay. Okay. And is that controlled or is that hit? It's been a while since I hit opponents.
Constitution save for any target I select within a 30 foot radius. So that will hit.
Oh. Each creature you choose. Yep. Nice.
Oh, you know what? Let's do this. I didn't see those other ones first. Did those just pop up, or were they there?
Yeah. Sorry, there were 4. I only put 2, but there should be 4. So there's 4 of them.
All right. Well, let's. Stanley doesn't kick that chair.
Okay.
He would want to stay there where he can hit all of them. So he'd go
Perfect.
alongside Varel and hit his Destructive Wave. So it's a Constitution save on all of them. They have to beat a Constitution save of 20.
That was a bad whistle. It was a bit better. Constitution save. All right, I'm rolling 4 Constitution saves for these little demony creatures that have spawned in.
For us, it just looks like you're air kissing, by the way, when you whistle.
I was air kissing?
Because we don't hear
what
it.
is that?
Yeah. It cuts it out.
All right. Constitution save. All right. Oh my god, I rolled really well. So you only hit 1 of the little guys? I'm sorry.
It'll be fine. Don't you worry about it.
Okay. And for the big guy, definitely a hit. So you hit 1 of the little guys and one of the big guys, demons.
Okay, well,
And
it
the
still
big
hits all of them, but it's just whether they take half damage or not. Or,
Oh, perfect. All
hold
right,
on,
so
let me read this again just because it's been a while since I did it. You strike the ground, creating a burst of divine energy that ripples outward from you. Each creature you choose within 30 feet must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 5d6 thunder damage as well as 5d6 radiant or necrotic damage. It'll be radiant. And knocked
10d6.
prone. A creature that succeeds on the saving throw takes half as much damage and isn't knocked prone.
Oh, okay.
So,
let's see what happens then.
So let's do thunder damage first.
Okay.
It's 11.
Gotcha.
And radiant damage second is 16.
Okay, so 1 of these guys takes 26 points of damage, right?
Nice.
27.
Actually, so 27, and they're knocked prone. Okay.
And they're knocked prone if they failed.
Okay. Perfect. So let's start with the big guy. The big guy takes the full amount of damage. Let me just check for resistances here.
Yeah, so it would be thunder
no.
and radiant as far as strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so 20. Sorry, you said 27, right?
Yes.
Okay, 70. All right, so that big guy's taken a total of 76 points of damage thus far, and then one of them takes the 27 points of damage. 20. Okay, perfect. And the other ones take half, so half of 27 would be 15. Half of 6 is 18. Rounded up, 19. Okay. So, perfect. All right, so two of them are knocked prone. The big guy falls down with the cage stuck in its face, and one of the ones to the left near Nash also falls down as well. I'm just going to put a weird symbol on him there so we can remember that. There we go. There we go. And I'll do the math on the rest. Anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
Can I ask for a DM decision on rule for cool?
Oh, sure. Yeah, what's going on?
Can I say parlay and have diplomacy lift up off the pile of equipment and stab the little guy next to him?
For bonus actions sort of
Yeah.
style?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
Nice.
So you kind of fling it, like you say, as the destructive force goes out, you look at your thing, you go parlay and fling it at one of the guys. Okay.
It's 24 to hit,
Yeah.
and it stabs the little guy for 9 points of piercing damage.
All right. So the radiant, is it necrotic or radiant damage?
For
The
diplomacy.
second half? No.
The
destructive
second half, it
force.
was radiant damage.
Okay, perfect. So I imagine it looks like the ground and house shakes, and the windows rattle. It only affects damage-wise, but white light emerges from the floorboards as like a wave of invisible force just smacks them down on the ground. And then the other ones also get hit, but they don't fall down. And then one of them gets stuck in with your sword. And they're all reeling, and the big thing has the cage stuck in his face as it falls down. Given that it's its turn, it takes all 4 of its like arms and puts it on the Softhead cage, and Softhead looks and goes, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And help me, Monsoon, or Monsoon. He doesn't have a tongue. He tries to remove it, and he wraps his legs around it, and he goes. As he pulls it out of his face, and then clambers on back up, but his face is sort of closed up, sort of like healing it, like it was really unpleasant having that cage in its face, and so that action was its turn essentially. So we move on to Nash.
Okay.
So Nash, you're hiding behind a chair,
Yeah.
and that thing now manifested physically behind you like this, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking behind you, going like, "What's it doing over there now?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
How tall is this thing? Is there height to it?
It's reaching the ceiling, so 9 to 10 feet.
All right. Well, in a show of, I don't know, fortitude, I'm going to use my built-in underwear DNA to hover to be as high as I can be in that room.
Okay,
So
you
I'm
float
gonna-
to the ceiling.
I'll fly up to the ceiling, and I'm going to do the following things. First, we are going to attempt Chromatic Orb again at level 3. Here's
Okay.
please be a good roll.
What damage type?
This will be cold again because I saw
Okay.
that work with Hope. So here we go. Please. Okay, that's much better. 20, not natural.
It's a hit.
All right, here is the damage at level 3.
Whoa, what was that?
It's a lot of dice. 21 points total of cold damage.
21 points of cold damage.
Yeah.
All right. So you float up with your underwear DNA all the way up to the top, and then you let out a large orb of cold and just volleyball it into his closed up face.
Yep.
It sort of smacks it, and then now there's this giant like sheet of ice over top of his face, and it's trying to open its mouth and can't because he's like, it's frozen. You can and it reels back, being knocked back against the wall from the force of being hit.
All right, I'm going
You
to
smack it. It's still moving and writhing around, and Monsoon yells out, "It is close to done.
Okay,
Deal it. It's killing blow."
Oh, if that's true, my tiny hand has something to say about this. So, little neck hand hasn't been pulled out in a while. According to your notes, it can perform any spell, especially cantrips, that don't require any special materials. And hold on, where's your notes? I lost it.
Wait, is this it's a feat, right?
And account, yeah, you
Trained
added it as a
baby arm.
feature.
You have a baby arm that has grown out of your body.
Yeah.
The arm has an elbow, forehand, and hand. The baby arm has a hand that may carry an item or wield a weapon.
Yeah.
You can cast a spell. You may cast a spell that only requires somatic components.
Right.
The spell does not count towards your 1 spell limit per turn.
There you go. So it's basically
So-
a bonus spell.
Only somatic spell.
It's meaning
So-
I have to. Oh, it's not vocal, is it?
It's only a hand spell, so if it's got V or M in it, you can't do that. So I don't know that you actually have any somatic only spells.
Hold on, let me look. Yeah, some of these are all 3. There's 2. Hold on, I guess I'd never really paid attention to that.
Oh, you have Mold Earth. Mold Earth is somatic only. That's good to know.
That is good to know. Well, that's not much of a feature then, is it? That's a poo feature.
Well, you can make a sandcastle in the background while you do that.
I mean, I can't.
But if you want to put a weapon in his hand as a free action, remember free action's also something. If you just want to give it your staff or something, I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I'll give it I have a dagger. I'm going to give it a dagger.
Okay.
And then I can have it throw the dagger in the same turn, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do that. He's got a dagger in his hand, in a little baby hand, and he will now huck it at this creature for piercing damage.
Do we know what roll we're making for that?
Yeah, it'd be a. Hold on here.
Do you have a dagger?
I do. I don't know if I mean, I don't have it equipped, but I just equipped it. Don't I have it in there? Hold on. I have a dagger. Hold on. I have a talking doll. What the hell's that in there for?
This is your notes. You have 8 scrolls of reverse gravity.
Yeah.
You have a handful of veggie peelings.
Yeah.
You have umbrella dong, and then you have this item called clothes are gross.
Clothes are gross.
And then wood axe, deer ribs, and raccoon shield.
Okay, I'll do the deer axe. Because you're right, I don't see the
wood axe. You do have a wood axe, apparently.
Or wood axe. That's
I don't see a knife here.
Yeah, there's no knife. All right, he'll throw the axe. So I'll give him the axe in his little baby hand, and then he will huck it at full force.
Make your attack
which
roll,
I guess the attack's going to have to be.
It's a dexterity. You're going to have to be dexterity modifier, basically. So
all right.
You're not proficient in it, so you won't get the proficient bonus. So your roll plus your dex modifier of +1.
All right, here we go. 10.
All right, so you give the wood axe in the baby arm, and it's very heavy for the baby arm, and it basically throws it a foot. You're like, I got this, guys.
I was wondering why I haven't used him more, and now I think I know the answer why I haven't used him more.
It is a baby arm.
It's just a shit arm. Okay, well, then that's my turn, and I did movement, yeah, because I floated, so.
Yeah. All right, so back up to Hope.
All right, Hope's going to dash to the monster because that's the only way she's going to reach him. And then she's going to spend her action surge to perform her attacks.
Gotcha. We're warrior or fighter feet engaged. Extra action.
A 16, a 26, and a 21.
All right. Describe the killing blow.
Oh,
nice.
Ooh, she'll run up to it, but as she gets closer, she'll slow down to a walk. And then she'll crouch down with her hands on her knees. And she'll just kind of slowly sink the blade in, and it'll form into ice and crack and fall apart.
Okay, so where are you stabbing it exactly? Sorry, I missed that part.
Oh, she's just sticking the blade into the... Oh, that's right, because it's a monster now. She'll just... into the neck.
Into the neck. Okay, perfect. So you run down, you get low, you perform this crazy cinematic maneuver as you get close, dashing, and then summon all your energy. You do rifle it with your knife in the neck, and as you do that, the knife stays stuck in it for a moment, and it goes.
I want to know what sound he's making.
And then it. Am I not making the noise
Just
anymore? And then because of all the ice attacks, its body like icens up. And then the mouth opens just briefly. And then in that weird face of his, the face of Cthulhu appears for just a minute. And you all hear him address Stanley, and he says, "You will pay for this betrayal." And then it shatters into an ice shower everywhere, all over the place. And pieces hit walls. Nash grabs a chair and tries to block it, and then it bounces off of Varel all cool as he's still in fist bump motion. As the pieces of ice bounce everywhere, the other demons in the room vanish out of existence, and the room becomes calm again. Congratulations on defeating the Curseborn.
Nice. That thing was a dick.
Monsoon looks around. He says, "It is done." And he walks over to Softhead, picks him up, latches him back onto his belt, and then takes the straw and goes and drinks a little bit of blood from the straw.
I will give a yes. All right. Stanley, when am I supposed to say the words?
Oh, for the incantation?
Yes.
That was ages ago.
Varel, you said you weren't going to say them.
Well, only if I had to.
Hope's wiping off the dagger and standing up and turning around.
My sweet Varel! And Monsoon comes forward and places clasps a hand and shoulder in companionship. The ritual is done. Your companion, Stanley, or shall I say Valir Ornath, son of Delit Ornath, is free of his curse, as I sense you all are now.
I'll take
go ahead.
the hand. I won't push it off.
For you, Stanley, you retain the benefits you got from that agreement, but you are no longer beholden to Cthulhu Prey through the Weir.
Awesome.
Congratulations on your freedom.
Hey, we all got there in the end.
Probably lost a couple of pounds too, right? That guy had to have been a little bit of something there, right?
Yeah, he probably weighed something for sure. You were carrying something in your soul. Now, your back hurts a lot. That doorway probably needs to be sealed up. But Monsoon turns to you, Stanley, and says, "Again, I formally apologize for my confusion back at Tiet Kala. I don't know if there's any way I can be of more help to you, but if there's something more that I can do, Hope knows how to find me."
Hope nods. She remembers.
And with that, he approaches the doorway to leave.
Thank you for your help. I don't know if it's I don't know if it makes amends, but I think we needed this. More so than just what I needed. And for that, thank you.
The wastes are a difficult place, and despair is in no short supply. It feels ironic that one with a curse such as me should be the one offering hope to heroes like you. But these are strange times indeed. Farewell, heroes of the wastes.
Before you leave, I'm going to reach out and, as if to shake his hand. Will you accept my handshake?
He looks down at it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look very trusting of you, Nash.
Well,
he's dealt with your kind before.
Then I will rotate the hand to reveal some of those precious fruit peeling things that I have in my pocket. And I'll offer those to him. It's not
Those
much.
are wasted on me. I cannot eat fruit and vegetables.
Feed him to your weird blood bag.
Oh.
And then
I've forgotten. He does need to eat.
Yeah, he'll give him energy. Then he can. That's the whole idea. Then
he
you
takes
can
both your hands and he says, "Thank you, Softhead. Here, partake of these vegetables. These are just peelings. Eat them. They're good for you." And then Softhead takes them, starving, and like, have any more of these peelings. Peeling.
I do.
It's hard to talk without a tongue.
I have more, and I'll give him a hand. I have a lot, so he can have a whole.
We have a little
big-
feeding zoo happening now.
Yeah.
You may feed him yourself if you wish, Nash.
All right, I'll do that. That sounds like fun.
So Softhead puts his face up to the bars and just opens his mouth with the cut tongue like you can't see, and ready for you to pop feelings into it.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll grab Stanley by the shoulder next to him, give him a little shake of congratulations, stare on at Nash feeding a small man in a cage. You know, we have real food, but this is a happy moment. And I'll look back at the stove that still has stew on it, look back at Nash who's feeding peelings, and just kind of smile and nod.
Softhead speaks up a bit. He stops eating for a minute. He says, "You know what, guys? This reminds me of when we first met all those months ago in Dust Hill.
I'm not sure that's a memory you should be dredging up.
We've come so far and grown so much. I'm soon going to be a vampire like my master.
Well, moment's ruined. Everyone.
And then as he goes to leave, Monsoon says, "Oh, and one more thing. I remember Dalit mentioning when he told me of this trianglosphere that it had to be deposited in the hottest place upon the planet. He wasn't sure where, but I've had many years to contemplate where that might be. Have you given this any thought, Stanley, or Valir?"
We've tried to figure it out. We weren't sure either. If you have an idea, we'd be happy to hear it.
He points to Nash and he says, "Ask this one about his home. The solar mines did not just mine solar rays, but deep beneath this planet we call a home burns a mantle and core of fiery hot spit. The forge of planets. I cannot say with certainty, but I would bet my immortal life that this place would be found in the solar mines." And I don't know how Nash takes it, but the rest of the party is now afflicted with dread, as they thought maybe they would never have to see this place, and it looks like they might have to. The words echo through your brain.
Yeah, I'd be afflicted with feelings of potential revenge.
Oh.
Yeah. I'd be
"Farewell, heroes of the wastes." And he turns and he walks out into the night. Straight to bed. It's now nighttime. It was a strange encounter. We are wrapping up this week's session, so we can move things along a bit by doing a little bit of la-di-da and say that, there was some conversation about what happened, but overall the party feels elated by having this small but very important victory, particularly Stanley, in obtaining his freedom. Very large victory, really. And everyone retires to their usual spaces at night, but their head spaces are not quite what they have been these few days, and a glimmer of hope appears in each of the party members' minds. Everyone is woken to a large sound. It's like rising. And Vorel pops his head out of his sand nap to see the house going vibrating and shaking, and from the ground rises up a great wooden contraption as if it was buried under the sand. Inside the house, Hope, Nash, and Stanley, you're risen from your bed only to see out your windows something rising. And Varel, you behold the sight of a large elven airship floating now above the ground. And upon it, a full contingent of ghost elves manning the sails and manning all sorts of ship-like tasks, like carrying barrels. And they go, "Oh, you put that over there!" and moving and yelling, and you're all wakened. And the cottage is seemingly now molded into the backside of the captain's quarters of the ship. And Hope, Stanley, and Nash rush outside to see what the commotion is. And they view this beautiful vista of a beautiful elven ship, as promised. And amongst these, a rather tall and familiar-looking ghost hobbles up on a peg leg and addresses Stanley. "Why, hello there, nephew. We've never met before, but I'm glad to have you aboard your ship." And that's where we'll end it.
Oh, man.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, you're a pirate and you didn't even know.
Yarr.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I enjoyed
So,
the hell out
as
of
a
that.
little task, because this is a ship, and it's seemingly going to belong to Stanley. John, you have some homework this weekend. You're going to need to
Okay.
come up with a name for your ship, and should involve your teammates to make a name that you can all be proud of.
Nash Jr. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
Nash Junior.
Junior. Yep.
we'll have a suggestion box. Everybody can put in their name, and
The name, I was going to pre-name it, but I decided you should name it. The name that kept popping up to me was the Inside Yoke, but I don't think that's very good.
That may not work. It's not
Because,
bad.
ships have yokes, I think, right?
Uh-huh.
Sure.
And there's a lot of inside jokes on our show. So, but I'm like, it's not good.
I
but
get
my
it.
brain,
Yeah.
my brain keeps liking it. So I don't recommend it, but I just wanted to share it. That's all.
Sure. Well, we'll find out soon enough, because next time we're in the wastes and we got more to do. I really enjoyed today, and I hope you all at home did as well. If you like what you hear on the show, hey, why don't support us? It's super easy. All you got to do is head on over to therewillbedungeons.com and click on the little support link, and boom, you're in. Your favorite D&D show on Saturdays just got a whole lot better because of you and your support. So please do that. And everybody who has already, thanks. You guys are awesome. We think you're amazing. I think that'll do it for all of us. It's great to be back in the waste, everybody. For Beau, for me, for John, for Kristen, for Kyle, and for Monster Truck Spirits everywhere. We'll see you. Hold on, I'm not ready. We'll see you next. Nope. We'll see you next time. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. We did it!
Yeah.
Nice job, man.
GG.
Great
Yeah.
summary. That
Yeah.
was badass.
Yeah.